What's up, everybody? Welcome to another.
What? Are you okay?
Jesus Christ, I'm having a stroke.
Welcome to another episode of Not Today.
Thank you. Oh, look at you. Look at you stepping up. Honestly, guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm dragging ass today. I just got off a flight and I've been in 5 different cities in 5 different days.
That's a lot, man.
Dude. And none of them were by bus or car.
That's a lot of flying.
We did all planes and it was exhausting.
You did 5 one-nighters in 5 nights.
Yeah, we went Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Nashville, Denver.
Oof.
It was brutal.
Good shows?
Great shows. So fun.
Nice.
So fun. Comedy Works is such a hot club.
I've never done the Comedy Works. I've heard it's great.
Yeah, and they have like a really fun like condo too. Like, you know, like most places
Condos are usually gross when it comes to comedy
I
clubs.
know, which is why they were like, we're putting you up in the condo. We both went,
"Mm."
yeah. But it was actually, you know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
It reminded me of when Joey becomes like a really big soap opera actor on Friends and he gets his own place for a little bit. That's what it felt like. It's like such a fun apartment.
Just random stuff.
Yeah, random shit everywhere. They're like nights.
Like a pinball machine,
Yes!
a stripper pole.
Pinball machine, arcade machines, these giant like medieval knight statues.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, with all these light up signs. And they had an art gallery, and I was really bummed we only had a one-nighter because you could tell like it's an art gallery that's created by all the comics that have stayed there.
Yeah.
And so it was fun to like go through and be like, oh, that's Brad Williams' artwork.
Right.
That's so-and-so's artwork.
Oh, so they draw a photo and a picture and they put it up.
And you put it up there.
Oh,
but
that's
it's
cool.
but it's on like it's all paint. You know, like
Oh,
they
I see.
actually painted on these little, you know,
Oh, that's
whatever
cool.
they're called, the tablet things,
Yeah.
you know?
Canvas.
Canvas.
There you go.
Yeah. Whatever. Fuck it. Like, dude, brain cells are fried. Here's the kicker. When I got on my flight
Yeah.
that I had to be up at 3:30 this morning for, when I got on my flight at 5:30, they go, just letting you know, we may have to have an emergency landing in Ontario because we might not be allowed to fly into LAX because of a ground stoppage of fog. And I was like, Ontario and LA are not the same place.
No, they're very far away from each other.
We can't go to Burbank.
Well, Burbank would be like coming in LA. I know there was a heavy fog warning.
Not in Burbank, though.
Well, there's heavy fog in the valley this morning.
Really?
Yeah. Because I take them
There's
home to school.
hardly
Yeah.
ever fog in the valley.
It gets kind of foggy. And then it burns off like around 10 or 11.
Yeah, but it's saying today it wasn't going to burn off till 3. And I was like, that's going to be a really shitty Uber from Ontario.
that's
So luckily
expensive
when we landed, I just held my breath because I couldn't see what the building looked like that we landed next to.
Please be
That's how
LAX.
bad the fog was. Like you couldn't even see other planes on the runway. You were just like, I hope the tower is awake this morning.
That's scary.
Because I do not want to have like a little oopsie daisy on the ground with another plane.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those have been happening lately.
Yeah, I know.
And luckily we pulled in and they're like, welcome to LAX. And I was like, oh,
Sweet.
thank God.
Just save me $150.
Exactly. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind. Denver was fun. I got to meet a lot of fans of the pod.
Oh, really?
Which was really cool. That was like, honestly, one of my favorite moments is when people would come up to me. We had a lot of fans in Houston.
Nice.
I loved that. And they'd come up and they'd be like, just FYI, Eddie still owes us wolf piss.
I know. I know.
They're like, I think he thinks we forgot about it.
No, I know.
It's literally why we tune in every week to see if Eddie's going to sniff
I'm going to
wolf
sniff
piss.
the wolf piss. Don't worry.
It's going to be our very special holiday
Jen has to
episode.
bring the wolf piss.
I'm not bringing the wolf piss into the studio. We rent.
So I'm going to your place?
Yeah, you have to.
All right.
We'll put
make
it
a
on video and then we'll put it on the internet for everybody. And then you'll have to cut it into the episode. They get first dibs of it and then we can release
All
it on
right.
Instagram.
All right.
Well,
I'm glad people are listening.
I am too.
That's
I'm just
nice.
honestly, it was just I was honored how many people said like, hey, Swings and Misses was fun, but Not Today feels special. And we
Oh,
don't like
That's nice.
we don't know what it is. And I'm like, I do.
It is special.
Look, we've always had good chemistry as friends.
Very
dude.
true. Very true.
Like, we just finish each other's sentences. It's the same mental illness. You should get tested.
I don't think I have autism.
I don't either. I just think you understand it.
I understand it very well.
But yeah.
So
Oh, what's going on in your life, dude? I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
it has been a while. It's been a couple weeks. I'm coming to the point in my life where I'm realizing, I guess most parents come to this point where they realize their child is more intelligent than them.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about
Not like book smarts, right?
I'm talking about like
where you can't help him with his algebra homework and stuff like that.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the idea to grasp new thing. Like I got to the point now where I no longer. He's got more knowledge than me. I can give him wisdom because I have experience.
Yes.
And that's what I have over him. And I can help guide him if he has questions about life.
But he's the one that comes to you and is like, do you know the human brain
Do you know carbon bonding doesn't affect, like, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking, like he has an AP chemistry exam.
Oh, Jesus. Absolutely not.
And
you're
I was trying to help him.
You're on your own, Colton.
And he was studying. And what we do is I can no longer help him with math. That stopped after long division. And so what he does is he just reads. He just goes over his study sheet out loud and tries to explain it. He tries to teach it to me as a way to reinforce it in his head.
Oh.
Because I can't.
Well, that's how I learn.
So that's
how I learn best. And that might just be how it like sticks in his head best.
It has to be because I can't help him and neither can Tracy. And the thing is.
But are you still failing AP chemistry?
I would totally fail at I never got to AP chemistry. I got algebra 2. I got biology and algebra 2 is where I topped out.
It's funny how they were just like all of a sudden in high school, hey, do you guys want to take college courses? And we were all like, yeah.
I was like, no.
Oh, no.
I never took AP shit.
I took
ever.
You want to know what's crazy? When they ask, were there signs? Eddie, there were certain classes that like when I signed up for AP, I was like, I'm going to thrive in these classes. And then I was like, oh, well, if I'm AP in this, I must be AP in everything.
Right.
And that is not how that works. It's not. Because it's just like AP math, fuck off. AP science, depends what it is.
Yeah.
Like biology, I was good at.
Well, there's biology and chemistry are way different.
But chemistry, And plus my chemistry teacher was a dick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he went to jail.
For meth?
No.
See, like a fucking.
Pretty sure it was kid stuff.
Breaking Bad?
I'm pretty sure it was kid stuff.
Oh, ew.
I had a couple of those.
Ew. Well,
and I never got along with those teachers. And I think it's because they knew I could like smell they were bad people, you know? Also, Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
I jokingly said it when I was home last time. We were out like having dinner somewhere and there were TVs on in the restaurant. And I looked around and I was like, and it was like, teacher gets arrested. And I go, Gaither's at it again. Because that's the name of the school I went to was Gaither High School. Don't hold the jokes, asshole. I saw you coming up with them and you're like, wow, gonna have a field day with this. Yeah. We were the Gaither Cowboys.
Jesus.
Looking back, I was like, no one really sat down and thought that one through.
No one thought about this one at all.
No.
But it's the point now where like he'll explain something to me. And I don't know if it's because of my age or my limited intelligence. But I can't.
You just are probably like, hey, I haven't had to know it up till now. So why do I need it? And your brain goes, but not important.
But it's not like rote memorization where it's sort of like, okay, it's just, I understand why I don't remember this stuff anymore because I haven't taken a history class. I haven't memorized names and dates and events in 30 plus years. Like I understand why he would be better in like a world history. He can explain to me the difference between Eastern Europe and Western Europe and why one advanced with monarchies and the other one advanced with free trade. Like I see where I could, if I was in that class, I would comprehend that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's explaining AP chemistry to me, my brain physically, like I can't conceptualize it in my brain.
Yeah, but I feel like that also could have to do with something like, no, I don't think it's that. It's a different kind of intelligence. I think you skew more like English, you know, like writing, creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that
stuff
side
I can
of the
bullshit.
brain.
I can bullshit creative writing and sound intelligent.
Yeah. Well, same.
But when it comes to numbers, like that's cold, hard fact. Like that's just this plus this equals this. I just think it's more of
a dominance thing, dude. I don't think it has anything to do with your lack of learning because I still learn stuff all the time. Like I learn stuff all the time. But I think it also has to come to you the right way, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about how you learn?
I'm a visual learner.
So you need someone to you need to write it down. You need to see it.
Even when I'm driving with the GPS, I have to look at the map. I can't listen to the GPS.
Oh.
I have to see it. I got to make a turn here. Because if they're saying make a turn in 0.2 miles, I'm like, I'll just fucking keep driving. It doesn't register in my head. It's just noise.
Well, that makes sense.
I'm a visual learner.
Have you ever thought about how that applies to your stand-up and stuff? Because I know
no,
I think I'm like Colton, where I I'm good if I do something or if I teach someone else. Like that's how I learn something the best.
Anytime you explain something,
when I have to explain something,
yeah.
When I have to explain something to somebody else, it makes it clearer for me.
But I'm the type of learner where I have to be involved. Like either I'm visually doing it, I'm visually seeing it, or I'm actively engaged in it. That's how I write when it comes to stand up.
Yeah,
I have to take the premise on stage and act it out and perform it and then find it there. I can't sit down and analytically break down the structure of something and take my notes and write funny jokes.
You know what's funny?
That's not how I write.
I can do that. But I can do that for other people. Like I can look at their stuff and I can do it very fast.
Yeah.
But when I have to do it for myself, I have to do it on stage. I think I like the pressure of having to work in front of a live audience. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's even like that when I'm trying to memorize lines for something. I have to rehearse them with someone or act them out or say them out loud. I can't just look at something and memorize it.
So Colton's really got you messed up on chemistry?
Chemistry.
Just that?
Well, just anything. Just math, numbers, science.
Oh.
He's just a smart child, and I'm to the point now where I'm like,
poor you, Eddie. You raised a smart kid.
I don't think I did anything. I think he's just a smart child. It is definitely nature, not nurture.
I think he loves to learn. I think he got really lucky there. I think he loves learning.
Yeah.
I think he's hungry for it. What's crazy though is he's still very creative.
What bums me out is he's so bogged down right now playing football and doing he's got 3 AP classes that there's no room in his schedule right now to do anything creative.
Oh, to make his little short films.
Right. So he's kind of, they're this October 19th in San Fernando Valley at Cringe Fest.
Cringe Fest.
There's a guy putting on a Cringe Fest festival, and they're putting his stop motion South Dakota Jones movie in.
Oh, that's so cool!
October 19th.
South Dakota Jones, by the way, is
this little spoof animation film called
Indiana Jones. Yes. Is it cousin?
I guess it's his.
We figured out the relation.
Third cousin, twice removed.
Whatever.
South Dakota Jones. But so I'll post information about it on my socials. But if you're in the San Fernando Valley on October 19th at 7 p.m. I guess they're putting his film in the film festival.
But you know what, Eddie? You should look at it this way. Because Colton's good at math, maybe it's like the piece of the puzzle that we always talk about, sometimes creatives are missing, where when they're not good at math and they're not good at that stuff, it's almost like they miss out on the financials part of being an artist. So maybe he's filling in that gap. You always want your kids to do better than you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally happy he's better than me.
I will never understand parents that are I don't want my kid to be better than I am.
No, fuck that. I want him to be better than me. At everything.
I may or may not be living
it's hard
the
for
other
me to
side
deal
of that.
With. What?
I may or may not be living the other side of that.
Oh, are you? Well, you were identified as a gifted child. True? Yes.
But in Florida, that just means my mom didn't sniff paint. You know what I mean?
Right. But still, you were gifted in Florida, but it's still gifted.
They were like, she's gifted. They're like, should we test her for other stuff? No. She doesn't need to know.
Just leave it.
Just leave it. She's thriving.
How did your parents deal with a gifted child?
Not well.
Not well, right?
What's funny is my sister was also labeled gifted, but she had severe ADHD, the running around the room.
Oh, sit the fuck down.
Chaotic.
Right.
We should tie her to the chair ADHD. and so when they went to go put her in gifted classes, my mom was like, absolutely not. She won't be able to handle it. And I honestly feel like my sister was robbed of that experience. Yeah. You know?
That might have been good for her. It might have calmed her down with the information going in.
Yeah, maybe if she was actually being challenged by stuff, she'd have to sit down and not.
The lack of being challenged makes you.
What's funny is I got diagnosed with ADHD or AUDHD, and my ADHD just manifested differently than my sister's. It was all internal, and I think that's just that's
you did all the running around in your head.
And I still do, and it's a blast. It's a blast up there.
So your parents they didn't deal well with you being smarter than them.
No, they still don't. I go home and I try to explain to them big ideas in terms of politics and in terms of social justice and things like that. And it just shows me a part of it. I wonder how much of it is me just getting out of Florida and getting out of small towns.
Well, and generational too.
Yeah. Getting out of small towns, getting out of Florida, where I talk to people and I'm just like, oh, you guys, this is all you know.
Well, some people don't move 20 miles from where they were born.
And I think it's very obvious when I go out in the world now and I'm touring too. I have to make those adjustments and stuff in my set when I'm addressing crowds that I know are like smaller town crowds.
Yeah.
They're just gonna know they're gonna see things differently than I do.
Well,
and
they
that's
live
fine.
in us, and there's nothing wrong. I have family members that literally live in the same city they were born in, and they're 80, 90 years old. Like they've spent their whole life in the same 20-mile radius.
And that's fine.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
happy.
A great thing. If you feel good there and you're happy there and fulfilled there, that's awesome. But at the same time, you have to. The only issue with that is sometimes I think they don't think outside of that, and they think this is the way everything should be. What's inside this radius,
and they don't have the same exposure that we do to things that we have here in LA or in bigger cities, or different types of people. So it's like their view is very myopic. You know what I mean?
Well, because they live in this, and we all live in our own bubbles.
So yeah, that's the thing. If you don't get along with, and I know like this right now might be tiptoeing like into some kind of political conversation. Like I don't want it to go that way, but if you are one of those people that takes a hard stance politically, I just challenge people when I'm having these conversations. Hey, what if we looked at the whole picture? Like, what's the harm in looking at the whole picture and like seeing everybody's point of view?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're all way closer to the middle than we think we are.
Oh, we're all more connected we're all more alike than we are different.
Yeah. But I think
it's our differences are so stark sometimes they drive us apart.
Or
and we can't see
the media makes us think our differences
of course, because that's how they
so much
make their
further
money.
apart. Oh, don't get me started, dude. It's such a fear cycle right now.
The news 24-hour news cycle is the end of the world. Like that's what.
Speaking of the end of the world, I love your shirt. If you're not watching this on the YouTube channel, Eddie walked in with it's Cobra Commander running for president.
Yeah, he's got my vote for sure. He doesn't even need a vice president.
I need to know his policies on women's rights.
You don't need to know any of his policies. Just vote for him. Just vote for him.
I want to know his policies on healthcare and women's rights.
Hey, he's got the Baroness, so he's all for women's rights.
Ooh, now I remember what I wanted to tell you.
What?
So when I was on the road this week, right?
Yeah.
In Dallas, which was our first stop, I had to deal with something that I've never had to deal with before. Eddie, have you ever done comedy on a stage with a sign language interpreter?
I have.
It is wild.
It is. It's crazy.
It's so wild and it's distracting.
Yeah, you have to force yourself not to engage in it.
Oh, I couldn't help it.
I know.
I couldn't help it.
I know.
Because you
want to say certain words and see what the sign is for those certain words.
That's exactly what I did.
Yes.
Eddie, when I got to my closer, I was like, I've been waiting for this. I told the audience, I've been waiting for this the entire time I've been on this stage. I'm not really a dirty comic.
Right.
But like I say words every now and then. What's the sign gonna be for that?
Right.
So we show up at this club. And they're like, hey, there's going to be a sign language interpreter because there's a person in the crowd that's deaf or hard of hearing, etc.
Right.
Requested this assistance. The club's obligated to give them that. And then they go, BT Dubs, they have an apprentice with them.
Oh.
So I was basically dealing with
two signers on stage?
The Cheesecake Factory waiter training
trainee.
Equivalent. Yeah. We're like, I was just like, is he doing it right? Like, yeah. You know, like when they walk up to your table and they're like, hey, so-and-so's going to be shadowing me for the day. That's what was happening, but like with sign language.
Wow.
P.S. because it's Texas.
Yeah.
My interpreter was drinking.
Oh, interesting. Were they able to keep up?
I go, who's drinking tonight? And I looked over at her and I just said, oh, wow. This is got to go off the rails.
So was the trainee picking up the slack while she was drinking?
Yeah.
Like she was taking a drink and the signer?
Yeah. I had to wait for her to take a sip every once in a while.
Are you done?
Yeah. It was Eddie. It was insane. But I played with it a little bit. I really want to get the tape back from it. There was one where I said something about those are balls. I was like, what's the sign for balls, Marie? And she did the sign, which is basically there's no sound effect, but I did it when I was like, oh, the sign for balls was this. And so I was like, no, Marie, spit on it.
Haktua. Fucking
Haktua. Oh, is she trying comedy? I really hope not.
She got the fifth highest rated podcast in the world.
I can't
right now.
I can't.
And she's trying comedy. Is she just stand up now? Okay, makes sense.
I hate it here.
It happens.
I hate it here so much.
It happens. However you can make it in this world.
Yeah. That does get me a little chapped. But again, I came the same way, you know. But I also feel like I put my time in other disciplines before I started comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like other forms of entertainment where I got my training, you know, with hosting and acting and things like that. So it wasn't like I just waltzed into comedy.
Well,
and
comedy,
was like, I'm going to be good at this now.
You took your time with comedy. You didn't like just try to jump in and like, I'm a headliner.
People don't realize how much time I've put into comedy.
Yeah. I remember the first time you did your first set. We were doing our old wrestling podcast. And you'd gone down to the Brea or Ontario and done your first.
I think it was Brea.
It was Brea. You did your first set.
Yeah. And I remember that vividly, and I was like, do I want to do that again? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I don't know why, because the end part didn't feel great, but some of it felt fine.
Yeah.
You know? I definitely got the bug. And then the other thing that happened on this road trip is, I don't know if I'm spoiled. I've mostly toured with men. Mm-hmm. This is the first time that I'm touring with a female headliner. And it's great. We can share rooms.
Yeah.
We have similar like biorhythms. So like we know like she's not a big partier. I'm not a big partier.
Yeah.
We both love our naps and like quiet time and stuff like that. But one thing that is kind of missing when you don't have a dude on tour with you is like that built-in security.
Oh yeah.
For like meet and greets and stuff like that.
Right.
That's what we were running into this week.
Was there no security from the venue that would sort of stand around?
And which crazy because half of her hour is about her having a stalker.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it's like, why would you not have built-in security? So the two of us were smart. And we were like, we're going to come up with a code word.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be, and I was like, how about you just say, did you get your food? And she goes, I don't think that's a good one, Jen. And I was like,
because I asked that a lot.
Yeah. But I was like, I think it'll be fine. I go, because it's after the show and I already know I got my food.
I want a banana milkshake.
Yeah.
Something odd.
Did you get your food? And she goes, all right. And then so later that night, she goes, there was a couple people just hanging around. She's like, oh, Jen, did you get your food? And I was like, yeah, I got it.
I'm full.
Bye. And I walked out of the room and I left her there.
So your code word can't be something normal.
It can't. But then how do people?
It's got to be a little odd.
But then how do people around you not know it's the code?
But if you just go, I'd really like a banana milkshake right now. Then people aren't gonna pick up on that.
That feels real.
No, or even like I would love a milkshake.
That's fair.
But just get your food is like, hey, what time is it? It's like that's not gonna work either.
Yeah. I didn't realize, she told me that there's actually like a policy that a lot of bars have where they write in the bathrooms like, hey, if you're feeling uncomfortable or someone's making you uncomfortable, it'll say, come up to the bar and ask for Angela.
Oh.
Or come up and ask for a golden shot or something. And they're like, and we'll make sure you get out of here safely. Okay. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, that's cool that they're offering that stuff back in the day. We just had to raw dog it when I was when I was young and going out.
You just had to fucking brave yourself. You had to have your mace on you.
I did have mace. I know that doesn't shock you.
No, you should have mace.
I had bear mace.
Oh, bear spray?
Yeah, bear spray.
That shouldn't. Tracy carried mace for a long time.
Would you take that to the face?
No. Will not take bear mace. $2,000. I'll do it for $2,000. $2,000. I'll do it for $2,000.
Eddie, if I raise $2,000, Alex just said $2,000.
$2,000. I mean, I can get the studio behind that, I think.
Okay, well, now I get the power of the studio. I want $10,000.
Nope, you already said.
$5,000.
You already said,
Eddie.
Eddie, you already said.
Pay for my next comedy special.
Hey, we can talk.
All right.
Can't take back.
Alex said we can talk. It's negotiable.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I saw happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks.
Belated anniversary.
Last Wednesday.
But happy anniversary.
October 2nd.
How long is
20
this?
years. 2 decades.
Sheesh.
20 years.
That's
goes by so fast.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, dude. 5 years felt like an eternity.
Different situation, I think.
Slightly. Just slightly.
It goes by it's the same thing as like
time flies when you're having fun.
I mean, it's again, 20 years of a relationship is not all easy and fun. There's a lot of work. And I mean, anything that lasts that long. Because I was asked the other day, like, what is the secret to 20 years of marriage? And I'm like, well, of course, love is there and attraction is there and friendship is there. Those things have to be there. But the stuff that makes it work for that long is patience and compromise.
Patience and compromise.
And empathy for the other person. Those things are required to everyone in a relationship. There's always going to be love and attraction and friendship.
Yeah.
Those things, that's why you're together to begin with.
I think compromise is the one that I think most people struggle with.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because we're inherently selfish. We inherently want what we want. We inherently want what we want. I'm hungry. I want to eat what I want to eat. I want to go do what I want this out of life. I want that.
You know where I screwed up?
Selfish.
I was not inherently selfish, and I was very inherently codependent.
There's a codependency thing.
And then at some point you just snap and you're like, what about me?
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's your ego
needs?
going, hey, you need to be a little more selfish here. Like your body,
you're not happy.
Your brain's like, you have to have some stuff for yourself. And any relationship, there's always that give and take. That's the compromise. It's like, no, you can be selfish here and I have to be selfish here, but this is the time for me to be selfish, time for you to be selfish. It's the time for the give and take. And if there's no giving and only taking, then it's not going to work.
That's so true.
It's a compromise.
What do you think the biggest thing is that you compromised on?
I think she's compromised more than I have. So, I don't even. She's done way more.
You're
compromising.
Like, what is compromising? What is this compromising that you speak of?
I would have liked to have spent more time when I was younger on the road doing comedy and building my comedy career that way.
Yeah.
And maybe a little more focused on my career.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been farther along than I am now.
Yeah.
I don't have regrets about it because I got a wonderful wife and I have a wonderful child and I like my life.
And I think you got quality time with your son.
I do.
That a lot of dads don't get.
No, and I wouldn't trade a second of that for an extra week at a comedy club or
it's not worth
a guest starring role on a TV show.
It's not worth the weekend at the Chuckle Fucker
I
hut
wouldn't
or whatever.
Trade a millisecond of any of it for that. But she's compromised too. I mean, she had aspirations of being a homeowner, and I think she wanted more than one child and stuff like that. You know, stuff where she had ideas when she was little of what being married would be like and having a family. And I don't think living in an apartment in Hollywood with our 15-year-old was her ideal life. She's not unhappy, but it's just like there's compromises that were made to have the life we have now.
It's so funny. Can I ask you this? I've had this discussion with other men in my life before, and I was like, do you have to announce when you're compromising, or because they'll be like, I compromised for you or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I think women compromise a lot more and we just don't say it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like some people feel like they have to announce that they're compromising.
I guess it depends on the relationship you're in.
We're compromising over a television show that you guys watch together versus compromising over big facets of your life.
Yeah.
You know, or like when someone has a trait that you might not necessarily like, you know what I mean? But you're like, I'm willing to put up with this because the rest of you is so amazing. Because the rest of you is so amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that is a compromise. Like, I don't like the way I'm not a picky eater, but I don't enjoy a lot of different dining experiences.
You have a very limited palate.
True, but I just like what I eat. I don't enjoy food.
No.
Like going out to a fancy meal.
To be fair, you eat it so fast.
I do.
It's honestly pretty impressive.
It's pretty great.
You could be one of those eating champions that you missed your calling.
I really should have done that with my life. But I don't like going out to a big fancy 4-course dinner or whatever. I don't derive any joy out of that. That is something Tracy would love to do. So there's a compromise there of like, we don't do that a lot because it's wasted on me.
So the compromise is food puzzles.
Food puzzles. She cooks at
home. She gets the blue apron. She gets the blue apron food puzzle. And she gets to create her own meals.
And she cooks for Colton now. Colton loves food.
Yeah.
So she'll make meals
Is Colton's palate better than yours?
Yeah, Colton's great. Okay. Colton's a normal functioning human being.
What happened to you, dude?
I don't know. I have no idea. But he's better than me, and that's all I can ask for. He's a more evolved human being than I am.
But when you compromise on something, do you announce that you're compromising?
No.
You're like, hey, all right, I'll let you have this.
No, I think it's because Tracy and I have a pretty healthy relationship, and I think when you're again, I think it depends on the relationship. It's not unhealthy that amounts you're compromising. I think it just depends on the relationship you're in.
Yeah.
If you're doing something where you're compromising a lot, and you're like you don't feel like you're getting a lot of give from the other person, maybe it's time to go. Hey, I just want you to know I'm compromising here.
Mhm.
Like just to give them a heads up. Like, hey, you need to do some giving too.
Are there things that you can't compromise on? Like, are there things where you're like, that's a hard line?
I haven't hit it yet. I don't know. I mean,
You haven't, but like,
I guess there's certain things.
would like beliefs be something that like, you know what I mean? Like if you and Tracy weren't like fundamentally similar in terms of, I don't know. Like I always wondered if that was like a part of my marriage that I didn't understand, is that Cody was obviously Jewish and I was not.
Yeah, but
And
neither
so-
one of you were hardcore practicing one way or the other, right?
No,
Like,
he was Jewish.
right. And you're not like, you may believe.
I believe.
But you're not like, here, I would like you to read this. So you're not that
No,
type of
I'm not
person.
passing out pamphlets and holding
neither
up
one of you
signs
were
on the
big
street
into
corners.
that. So I don't think that was
I tried to go to church and that got vetoed. Did I ever tell you that story?
I think so. I think
He didn't want me going to church because he thought I was going there to meet somebody, like to meet a dude. And I was like, yeah, Jesus Christ.
it's fucking ripped as hell, dude. Once you get on whatever program he's on,
CrossFit.
once you do some P90X, P90 cross.
Yeah. I took him to church. He insisted on coming with me and then later tried to reframe him coming to babysit me at churches. You tried to convert me. And I was like, that is not what that was. That was you being insecure and not wanting me to go to church because you knew Justin Bieber went there. And he was like, wow, there's big people that go to this church. I'm pretty sure it was a cult, but whatever.
Probably.
But
Most
yeah,
of them are.
but I thought about that and I was like, no, I'm much happier now with my beliefs now. But even when I would find something that I was super passionate about, like he'd often find ways to like crap on it.
Well, I think you have to work it out. Again, it's that compromise and the patience of like, this is what you strongly believe in. I strongly believe in. I guess if you have such polar opposite beliefs, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
It's going to be difficult. It's going to take more work. Tracy and I don't have those like core polar opposite beliefs, so it's like we kind of can meld together in that way. But if you do have that, I guess that would be an issue. But
speaking of polar opposite beliefs,
yeah,
you sent me this article a couple weeks ago.
yeah.
And it's about how pegging is back.
Yes. It's about time.
And not,
did it go
no,
away?
No, no,
when did
no.
it go away?
I'm not talking about the pegging that you were talking about when you roll your jeans or whatever bullshit that was.
Alex rolled his. Alex pegged.
Have you guys heard about Alex Peg?
Oh, he shut me down.
Whoa.
Alex
whoa.
pegs all the time.
I was aware of what you were talking about. I did not commit the
Alex was like,
verb.
oh yeah, sure, I did that too. No,
it was the practice of cuffing your pants and then rolling them
Oh,
up.
it was cuffing all right.
We were cuffing hard,
I-
long, deep cuffs. Here from the YouTube channel, look, that you would cuff like this, and you'd roll it, and then you would twist it up,
No one.
and that was a peg.
All right, Marty McFly.
That's how you pegged your jeans in the early '90s.
That's weird. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
It must have been just for guys.
It was a guy. Well, I think girls did it.
No.
I think girls did it.
But apparently the other kind of pegging.
The other pegging's a little more invasive,
Is in.
and
Yeah,
only
it's-
guys can do it.
Well, receive it.
Receive it.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I guess they could do it too. But
I don't
they
think
could
you
definitely
call
receive
girls
it.
don't get pegged. They just get that's just regular old. I guess if it's two girls.
No. That is not regular. Let's not establish that. I mean, we're not kink shaming or whatever.
Do whatever you want, man.
Do whatever you want.
As long as it's consenting.
But I love that you sent me this article. The article is called A Dick's Day Off.
Oh, yeah. It needs it, man.
I just love that you sent this to
Dick's
me.
day off.
Oh.
I'm 50. You got to give it a break.
What if Tracy came to you one day and was like, Eddie, I really want to try this. Let's spice up our life.
I'm fine with it.
What?
I've never been pegged, but I have nothing against it. I would, if Tracy wanted to do it, I'd be like, okay,
What's the price for this?
$2,000.
And a dinner.
Bear spray in the face while I'm getting pegged, 10 grand. 10 grand, peg me, and bear spray in the face. $10,000.
We're still talking about the right kind of pegging, right? Alex is like, what is happening?
I just feel like 10 isn't a lot of money, but we've already made the agreement. So
Yeah.
A gentleman's agreement is a gentleman's agreement.
I reserve the right to renegotiate.
there it is.
You got to read the fine print.
But yeah, Alex said there was something about like a woman that was like offering to do
On
this for her
Patreon?
No, I was trying to find it. It was like a social media thing, and
You can't offer that on Patreon.
Well, I can't.
What
also,
tier is that?
the studio has filters on, so I can't. I need an adult's
Oh.
permission to see if these stories are the ones I'm thinking of.
This studio has child safe search on their computers.
You guys know Mark, okay? He's the daddy of the studio.
Oh, please. He's looked up a shiwi on
Oh,
our
that's
show.
right. We had Shiwis on the monitor.
I guarantee
one time.
that's not under a safe search.
That's funny.
Jesus. I'm going to have to take this up with Mark.
Have you ever been approached to peg in your travels?
Once.
Once someone asked you to peg them?
Once. Yeah. I declined.
Someone you were in a relationship with?
I declined.
Or just somebody that was just like, hey.
I had been in a relationship with.
Yeah.
And then we had broken up.
Okay.
And then this was like our second
Go around?
Second go round.
Sure.
And I was like,
Things have changed.
no, I'm good.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's just a lot of germs. I think it's the OCD
It's okay.
germs
It's
and
little-
situation.
You'd want to make sure it's
I don't
clean.
think guys' buttholes are as clean as girls'
I don't-
buttholes.
probably
I'm
not.
just saying it.
I mean, I don't know if that's scientific, but probably not. I'm guessing not, but I don't know. I don't know if there's any science to back that up.
I don't think
It's just a hunch.
I don't think I need science. I don't. Are you telling me that you don't believe that?
I don't
It's an
know. Give me
accurate
2 days with
statement.
some silly and husk. I think I'm pretty clean. I think I'm pretty cleaned out.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general,
general?
hygiene.
Well, yeah,
I feel
there's
like you guys are sweatier.
there's more hair. Hair's like natural dream catcher down there. I don't know. I don't have anything against pegging if I was approached.
You're the one that put this in the rundown, Eddie, and you're
Sorry.
like being very elusive.
I already
about it.
said I would do it and get
I'm
bear
not
sprayed.
asking you to do it. I'm trying to get you to have a conversation
Okay.
about it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No one says there's anything wrong with it. I was just wondering, like I said, if Tracy came to you and was like, "Hey, let's try this."
I would be up for it.
What's the weirdest request Tracy's ever? Not necessarily sexual. I'm just mean where like she brings something to you besides her saying that she wanted to like go and do something with the lottery. I remember that was a pretty funny
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That was her big plan to get rich.
To win the lottery.
What was the craziest request Tracy?
It wasn't
ever
a
made?
request.
Not sexual, or we should do this, and you just were like, okay, compromise.
Like not with sex.
No, I mean it could be with sex. I don't care.
Well, I've
Whatever,
never done
whatever
anything
you were
like-
gonna say.
It's not. No,
Whatever you were gonna say a second ago, where you lit up.
No,
and
I
you
felt
started
bad.
laughing.
There was one incident where I felt bad. We did a Babymoon before we got pregnant with Colton.
Before you got pregnant with Colton?
Before she went off birth control, we did a Babymoon where you kind of take a little trip before, your last trip as a couple without a child.
But she's pregnant.
No, she wasn't pregnant.
Babymoons are when you're pregnant.
No, it's before you get pregnant.
No, that's not what that is at all.
What is it?
That's called a fucking vacation.
Well, yeah, but it was a Babymoon. You take a baby moon.
What's
a baby moon,
A
then?
baby moon is when you are very pregnant and you go on a trip.
Why would you want to go on a trip if you're very pregnant? That
'Cause
seems
it's
like a
your
bad
last-
idea.
It's like your last hurrah. It's
No,
like
but you
supposed to
can't
be
enjoy it.
relaxing. I mean,
That's what this was.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing that
Alex,
you
look
have better
up
logic.
Babymoon.
I'm not disagreeing that you have better
I don't
logic
think you
here.
go out on a trip major pregnant and then try to enjoy yourself.
I'd hate to know what your definition of a push president is. You probably think you deserve one after a dump.
I do.
I'm ready.
All right,
What
what's
do
a
you
baby
got,
moon?
Alex?
What's a baby moon?
A baby moon is a vacation or getaway that couples take before the birth of their child,
Boom!
or a time for parents to spend with their new baby after birth. I know.
That's dumb.
I know. I could have stopped reading,
That's
but I know.
stupid. Why would you do that? That makes no sense. You take a baby moon pre-baby.
You just took a vacation and had a bunch of sex. That's not a baby moon.
That's dumb. Why would you go pregnant? That you can't enjoy yourself. You have to shit. You can't eat
You
anything.
can't ride
all
roller
the time.
coasters.
Constantly have to go to the bathroom. You're complaining because you're uncomfortable. Can't enjoy yourself.
I don't disagree with this, but that's just a vacation.
That's dumb.
Eddie.
Well, anyway, on our vacation, we stayed up at Yosemite. We were like at a hotel or whatever, and I guess she had packed lingerie. And we've never been big into lingerie. We're not like that type of right.
I feel like it's just like buying really expensive wrapping paper
it's
for
like,
yourself.
Just be naked. That's all I want to see is the naked.
You're and like, oh, I have to do work.
I felt bad because she came out in lingerie and I just started laughing. Like I couldn't help it. I was like, what are you doing? And she got like embarrassed and I felt awful.
Because it's a dickheadish response.
It was my natural response. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was just like,
was it like
I think it was almost like an uncomfortable laugh because I'd never seen her really in lingerie before. Yeah. No, I was like, what? That was my like, what?
What the fuck
are you doing?
How are you still married?
Because compromise. She's accepted I'm an asshole.
How are you still married?
That's crazy.
And I felt bad. And I apologized. And we laughed about it afterwards. But in the moment, I was like, oh, sorry. She went in the bathroom and took it off.
Oh, Tracy.
She tried, but Tracy. I couldn't. I was just I wasn't like I'm trying to be a dick here.
That's
I was just
like
my
a woman's
natural,
very vulnerable position.
No,
and you're like giggity goo.
I know, but I have the maturity level of a fucking 12-year-old.
Jesus.
So I felt awful.
That's hilarious.
But it was fine, and we've survived.
That's why she's never asked you to do anything more adventurous. She's like, Eddie, you couldn't even keep your shit together when I put on some Fredericks of Hollywood.
Could you imagine her with a strap on? I fucking have a heart attack from laughing.
What if it's bigger than yours?
Like, no, not a penis shaped one. We're not doing a penis shaped one. You just do the rocket shaped one.
The
missile. Do the missile thing, not the penis looking one.
No.
I don't want to feel veins. I don't want balls on it.
Like I said, she walked out, was bigger than yours. You'd be like, nice.
Nice. Where's that going?
Nowhere.
It's not going in me.
I can't even talk. Eddie, just do Florida Man.
Oh, Florida Man.
We can't get out of this segment.
Florida Man.
Where's that going? Nice. That's right up there with honey potting. Somebody brought that back the other day, and I was like, "Oh, honey potting."
That was a fun time.
What was that?
I can lick my finger.
Gross.
Classic. Playing Florida Man Friday. I read Jen Sturger 3 Florida Man headlines, 2 real, 1 fake. She has to tell me what is the fake Florida Man headline.
Alex says I have a tell.
Is going to play along.
YouTube people, let me know what it is.
These are the records. I want to get the record out there.
I need to figure out what my tell is. So YouTube better let me know.
Here's the official record. Apparently, Jen has 11 wins. Alex has 5 wins. And Mark has 3 wins.
Even if I'm playing the house, I'm still up.
You're up.
I mean, it's 11-8. It's not.
It's 11-8. So if you're playing for the studio,
odds are odds. I'm gonna win here.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go. Florida man punches man for complimenting his car. Florida man who started Neighborhood Watch is arrested for being a peeping Tom.
Oh no.
Florida man and his girlfriend arrested after taping a lottery ticket together to try to claim $1 million prize.
What was the second one again?
Florida man who started Neighborhood Watch is arrested for being a peeping Tom.
Oh.
One of those has not happened yet.
I'm studying the camera right now. Sorry, I'm just looking for my
tell.
She's so still right now.
This is so hard to not move anything. I feel like a pitcher in the World Series where like I'm just trying not to like
Don't give it
and
away.
the dugout's giving each other signs and shit right now.
You gotta wear sunglasses like World Series of Poker.
I will. Don't threaten. Now that I know, I might have to. I feel like what was the compliment that he said to the car?
Oh my.
If I give out all the information, then you might think it's real.
What was the compliment?
He just went up and said you got a nice car. I'm trying to tell you got a nice car, bro.
I
like your car.
I think that's the fake one.
All right. You think that's the fake one?
Yeah.
Alex?
I'm going with neighborhood peeping Tom.
Neighborhood Peeping Tom?
Yep.
Your winner. And new champ.
What?
Alex.
Let's go. That's 11-9. Hello.
11-9. Here's the story.
Bullshit.
John Sturgeon punched a man in the face for allegedly complimenting his car. According to Polk County Sheriff's Department, the incident happened in Lake Wells area. Sturgeon apparently stopped his car in the middle of the road, got out, walked up to the victim's car. In the footage captured from the victim's car, the victim can be heard saying, "I'm trying to tell you, nice car, bro. I like your car." Sturgeon can then be seen punching him and getting back into his car.
Wow. I hate how dangerously close that man's last name is to mine.
Sturgeon.
Yeah. I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
Just don't compliment his car.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that definitely could have been my father. He did just get rid of his Corvette.
Oh,
he's really butthurt about it.
No.
He didn't need it.
I know.
Like, it just...
At that age, you don't need it.
He loved pulling up to the...
Sonic?
To the over 60 softball league and feeling like a badass, but he's really struggling letting go of this car.
Ugh.
Like it's the end of an era. And I'm like, no, it needed to happen.
No,
that was
time to go.
Real sad looking. It was very Vince McMahon. I've always said my dad looks like if Vince McMahon and Tim Allen had a love child.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you met my dad.
Yeah, I have.
Right?
I can see that. That works.
Anyways, Eddie, where can people find you?
You can find me at Eddie Pence on all the socials or eddiepence.com.
At Jennifer Sturger, guys, on all the socials, or jensturger.com. I think that's my website. Yeah, that's my website. Calendars are on sale. A portion of the proceeds go to all of my favorite organizations that I like to work with. So please order those before November 1st. I have a hard deadline. I had people trying to get me to mail them calendars up until March of this year.
Wow.
For last year. And I'm like, I can't do this, guys. Like, I'm a small...
Hard, yeah.
Yeah, hard. They are...
It's not even mom and pop. It's just mom.
Yeah, it's just mom.
It's a mom shop.
That is the story of my life. It's a mom shop. I have cats and dogs to feed and photographers to feed. So, but if you're interested in a calendar, all the information for that is in my Instagram, as are all my tour dates. So please check those out. Thank you so much for supporting the show. You guys are doing such a good job getting the word out there. Every week our views go up.
Yeah. We're doing well.
So keep spreading the word.
So maybe get some sponsors.
Spreading the word, spreading the cheeks, whatever you
gotta do. Spread them cheeks.
We can't send this episode to the sponsors that we're trying to court right now. But yes, help us find some sponsors. Help us get the views up. You guys are doing such a great job. And we're so glad that the stuff that we're talking about resonates with you guys. And, hopefully we make your day a little bit brighter. So until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of Not Today. Bye.